And that was the point where I discovered it, and it was very exciting. But then I wasn't sure. But after going through a lot of examples, I really couldn't see there was anything wrong with it. That's the way with laws, you know, they have some exceptions, but in the end, I think this one was all right.
The law finally explained the phenomenon known as grammatical change. In the past tense of strong verbs, there was sometimes an alternation between consonants in the singular and plural forms. Old English, for example, had teach, I pulled, but tugon, we pulled. Cheas, I chose, but kuron, we chose. At one point, part of the conjugation had stress on the root syllable, other parts on other syllables, producing the above forms, as well as the alternation in modern English was were. We can therefore reconstruct Proto-Germanic forms such as tauchi, tuhun, kausi, kusun, wasi, wasun. Sounds at the beginnings of words were generally not affected by Verner's law, though some have drawn connections between Latin cum, meaning with, and the Germanic prefix ga, which can mean, among other things, together. Though Verner's law allowed us to understand more about etymology, it was most significant in that it introduced the concept of free stress into studies of Germanic. That is, the idea that early Germanic did not necessarily have root stress across the board, as in German, but had variable stress, as in the difference between the words vary and variability. Verner's law raises some interesting questions. 1. Did the law operate only in the Proto-Germanic era, or did its period of operation extend into the West, North, and East Germanic eras? 2. Why did Verner's law, like Grimm's law, seem to work erratically? Some words appear in different Germanic languages having been affected differently by Verner's law. German, for example, has Eisen and Hase, while English has iron and hair. Gothic has Hochrus, with a rule-governed loss of N, while English has hunger. While Dutch has base, English has berry. And Middle High German has both Mahen and Magen, which both mean poppy. 3. Why did Gothic not have Verner's law in the past tense of strong verbs, as in Old English teach tugun, cheas kurun, was werun? Gothic has tauch tuchun, kaus kusun, was wasun, with no sign of Verner's law. The same applies with the so-called jan verbs, such as hausjan, which is the equivalent of the rhoticized English verb to hear. Was the suffix jan stressed in Gothic? Even if it wasn't stressed in Gothic, the discrepancy indicates a change in stress in some parts of the Germanic world beyond the Proto-Germanic period. 4. Why do some verbal endings in Germanic not match? The Indo-European third-person singular verbal ending contains a t. This ending shifts to th in Germanic by Grimm's law. Thus, bindeth, he, she connects, or binds. If the verb is stressed on the first syllable, Verner's law would give us binded in West Germanic, with a voiced ending. German has bindet, but this t is from a West Germanic d. In Old English, however, the form is bindeth, which implies stress on the second syllable, since the ending is voiceless. Do Old English verbs have a different stress pattern than other West Germanic verbs, indicating a split in stress patterns as late as West Germanic? 5. Could Verner's law operate on different parts of the vocabulary at different times? Could, for example, Gothic verbs have been the first, or maybe the last class, to be affected by the law? 6. Did the results of Verner's law always need to be indicated in writing? Or does the absence of orthographic clues point to the law being so automatic, in some parts of the vocabulary at any rate, that no written clues were necessary? Could hausjan have been pronounced automatically as a semi-rhoticized hausjan? The overall question is, did free stress, or elements of free stress, persist in West Germanic so that Verner's law could operate longer than we think it did? Could a shift to across-the-board root accentuation have started in Proto-Germanic and then continued, by analogy, and then only gradually in West, North, and East Germanic? Gothic, for example, might have had root stress, as we expect from a Germanic language, though it is hard to tell. Gothic is a language that preserves numerous syllables apart from the root, and it seems that any of them could have full vowels or diphthongs. This differs substantially from the situation in German, where many fewer vowels are allowed. The more items that are allowed in different syllables, the less differentiation there is between kinds of syllables. The less differentiation, the more of an opportunity there is for any syllable to carry stress. These are questions that have puzzled philologists for 130 years. Karl Verner created a law that shook the world of those people who happened to read the Zeitschrift für vergleichende Sprachforschung. Way to go, Karl.
Wow, that was an amazing story. I learned so much.
Did you? Well, that's just great. You see, Frankie, the more you know about the rules of early Germanic prosody, the more rewarding life can be. Now, how about an ice cream cone?
Gee, that would be swell. But what about Mr. Verner?
Oh, I'm sure he's fine.
After I checked the data from Old High German, I decided to relax a bit with my wife. Later in the day, we played some cards. Gin rummy, I think. And I won 3 games and lost 2. Well, one was interrupted, so you couldn't really tell that I had... And then we found this box, and it had this thing in it, what you call it. I can't remember the name of it, but we found one, and it was